Look who's back. Still on the run from the government. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the 6th and final episode of my Painting Mando's Helmet series. Today, obviously, I'm going to be finishing up the painting. And I'm starting off with doing a little bit of a glaze of some burnt sienna, and I think I mixed that with a bit of alizarin crimson, just to make that section a little bit warmer. And I'm also adding in some highlights with burnt sienna, that mixture that I just talked about, mixed with a lot of white. And how I blended that in was I put a thick stripe of just straight paint on, and then I went in with another brush that was wet, and I just kind of blended that in, which worked really well. And I'm just going through the whole painting, finding little areas that have warm highlights, and I'm doing those. Next, I'm doing some of the cooler highlights. So this was, I think, just straight white mixed with some Winsor blue, just a very little tiny bit of Winsor blue. And I was also comparing some colors there. Now I'm doing a cooler gray, so this is burnt sienna mixed with a whole heck of a lot of ultramarine blue, and then just some white. And yeah, this episode is basically me just finishing up all of the little areas that kind of got neglected in the whole big painting process. And like, I'm just going through putting in some more solid colors with like lots of thick paint. And I actually tried using a bit of a different technique today. I decided to just use really thick colors and blend them in using the same brush that I was using to like paint with. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but I was trying to be a lot more heavy with my brush strokes. And also, I'm not sure if you saw it there, but I did fix that section where his helmet came up too high, just for the people who were having a little bit of OCD about it. And I'm also putting in a bit of more of a shadow, just to make, Mando look like he has a bit of a neck. And I'm also going to do a glaze over this gray area. I'm going to make it blue, just because it has a little bit of a blue tinge in the picture. And I wiped some of it off with my paper towel, because I thought it was a little bit too thick for me. But yeah, I'm just going through making things darker, slightly adjusting colors, and making all of those final adjustments. And I'm re-adding in that highlight there because I erased it. I'm also putting in a few more darks there just to make it have a little bit more contrast. I wasn't quite happy with the value of the visor and some of those cheek areas, so I had a really hard time finding that warm, like the darker warm color. It kept turning kind of like beigey, and I didn't really like that. And here I am trying to add in the little glow on the side of Mando's helmet, and my thinking for this was like, okay, I'll just put in a big white splotch and then I'll glaze it over. But I spent, I don't know, maybe like 15 minutes just kind of reworking this splotch. Just, I tried glazing over it and like putting in different colors and trying to blend it in. But I kept just looking at it and thinking, oh my god, what have I done? Like, this looks so stupid. It looked like, somebody had painted this really nice painting, and then like a kindergartner had just been like, you know what this needs? White out. And I just hated it. So I kept like trying to salvage it. I was like, maybe if I do this, maybe if I add a little bit of water, maybe if I put it on some cadmium yellow. But in the end, I was like, no, just no. So I I went at it with a wet paper towel and just scrubbed it off. And I say this all the time, but that's the beautiful thing about acrylic, is that you can just scrub it all off if you don't like it. And if I'd been smart, I would have put a layer of glaze underneath, just in case I didn't like it, because glaze kind of acts as a protection layer so that you can't change anything underneath it. But whatever, it ended up working out in the end, because I didn't want to erase the whole thing, because I still wanted it to be lighter there. And yeah, I think that definitely the more subtle route was the way to go. Yeah, there's just like a little bit of white in the middle, mostly cadmium yellow, and then I just kind of eased out with a mixture of burnt sienna and alizarin crimson. And that looks much more natural, in my opinion. So here is where we started. And there's a sky. Then some blue. Then this was the spider episode. This is today's. Look at that. Thank you so much for watching this series. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any suggestions for what I paint next, please leave them down in the comments. See ya. Bye.